Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna everyone. So let's get started. This is Krishna book English and we are continuing with chapter 88, the deliverance of Shiva. So yeah, let's continue. So Sukdev Goswami continued, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is transcendental to the three qualities of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord states that anyone who surrenders unto him surpasses the control of three qualities of material nature. Therefore, since Hari's devotees are transcendental to the control of the three material qualities, certainly he himself is transcendental. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is therefore stated that Hari or Krishna is the original Supreme Personality. There are two kinds of Prakriti or potencies, namely the internal potency and the external potency. And Krishna is the overlord of both. He is the Sarvadrik or the overseer of all the actions of the internal and external potencies. He is also described as Upadrishta, the supreme advisor. He is the supreme advisor. He is above all the demigod, who merely follow the direction of the supreme advisor. As such, if one directly follows the instruction of the Supreme Lord as inculcated in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then one gradually becomes Nirguna or above the interaction of the material qualities. To be Nirguna, here Nirguna needs to be explained once again. Nirguna is not without gunas. Nirguna means beyond material qualities. Yes, that is Nirguna. People often misunderstand Nirguna. To be Nirguna means to be bereft of material opulence, because as we have explained, material opulence means an increase of the action and the reactions of the three material qualities. By worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, instead of being puffed up with the material opulence, one becomes enriched with the spiritual advancement of knowledge in Krishna consciousness. To become Nirguna means to achieve eternal peace, fearlessness, religiousness, knowledge and renunciation, all these symptoms of becoming free from the contamination of the material qualities. So Dev Goswami, in answering to Parikshit Maharaj's question, went on to cite the historical instance regarding Parikshit Maharaj's grandfather, King Yudhishthira. Yes. Okay, Parikshit Maharaj's grandfather. Okay. King Yudhishthira. He said that after finishing the Ashwamedha sacrifice in the great sacrificial arena, King Yudhishthira, in the presence of great authorities, inquired from Lord Krishna on the very same point. How is it that the devotees of Lord Shiva becomes materially opulent, whereas the devotees of the Lord Vishnu do not? Important point. Now, we just saw that Krishna is beyond a realm of control of the three modes of material nature. Krishna controls the three modes of material nature, and Krishna is beyond the realm of three modes of material nature. So the question arises from the fact that whoever is a pure devotee of Krishna, they get the qualities like Krishna. So now these devotees should be free from the three modes of material nature, and rightfully so. Devotees of the Lord are free from the material nature, free from the clutches of material nature. Now, here comes an important point. On one side, we are seeing that devotees of Lord Krishna are free from material nature. At the same time, second side, we see that Shiva is bound by the three modes. Devotees of Shiva are bound by the three modes. What is the issue? Yeah. Okay. So, he said that after finishing the Ashwamedha sacrifice in the great sacrificial arena, King Yudhishthira, in the presence of great authorities, inquired from Lord Krishna on the very same point, how is it that the devotees of Lord Shiva becomes materially opulent, whereas the devotees of Lord Vishnu do not. Sukhdev Goswami specifically referred to King Yudhishthira as your grandfather, so that Maharaj Parikshit would be encouraged to think that he was related to Krishna, and that his grandfather were intimately connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now here comes the very important point. On one side, we can see that Parikshit might be puffed up with the fact that his own grandfather was in personal connection with Krishna. Materially, what do we see? What do we see? If anyone is materially opulent and we praise him or her for that opulence, then he or she gets puffed up. So the question might be that this Parikshit Maharaj might be puffed up with all the praises that he is getting. No, Parikshit Maharaj won't be puffed up. Now comes the question, why? Because he is a pure devotee. He is already a pure devotee, so he would not be puffed up. No question of getting puffed up. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Now here is one more point. Sukhdev Goswami is referring King Yudhishthira as your grandfather. Now we need to learn a very important point from this fact, that when we are preaching, when we preach, when we go to public, we have to praise them. We have to tell their connection with Krishna. We have to tell that these whoever devotees we meet with, these are very fortunate devotees, and you are very fortunate, although you would not be saying, you are very fortunate to be in association of these devotees. So that's how we would see. That is how we would see. Yeah, we would see everything in connection with Krishna and no one else. So that Maharaj Parikshit would be encouraged to think that he was related to Krishna and your grandfathers were intimately connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although by nature Krishna is always very satisfied, when Maharaj Yudhishthira asked the question, the Lord became even more satisfied, because this question and its answer would bear a great meaning to the entire Krishna conscious society. Whenever Lord Krishna speaks about something or a specific devotee, it is meant not only for that devotee but all the devotees, and indeed for the entire human society. Instruction by the Supreme Personality of Godhead are important even to Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and other demigods, and if one does not take advantage of the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends within this world for the benefit of living entities, he is certainly very unfortunate. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Just a minute. Lord Krishna answered the question of Maharaj Yudhishthira as follows: if I especially favor a devotee and especially wish to care for him, the first thing I do is to take away his riches. The riches, what does this riches mean? Riches means any opulence which anyone has, which he or she is proud of. Suppose you do not have, you have opulence, but you are not proud of those opulence, and you see everything in connection with Krishna, then Krishna would give you opulences. Yeah. So taking away riches means, so just to give an example, His Divine Srila Prabhupada was once a very poor person, poor in terms of wealth. He was bereft of his wealth. He did not have wealth. Then he became the most precious person. He was already most precious person, but then after preaching, he became even more precious, and in fact unparalleled. So after starting the preaching, I mean in a very big way, did Srila Prabhupada became poor in terms of money? Was he got rid of all the opulence that he is getting? No. Please try and understand, fame, wealth, strength, renunciation, knowledge, nothing is bad if it is used for Krishna. The problem with us is that we see things independent of Krishna. When we see things independent of Krishna, then our problem begins. If we see everything in connection with Krishna, there is no problem ever in this world. So, Lord Krishna answered the question of Maharaj Yudhishthira as follows: if I especially favor a devotee and especially wish to care of him, the first thing I do is take away his riches. When the devotee becomes penniless, pauper, or is put into a comparatively poverty-stricken position, his relatives and family members no longer take interest in him, and in most cases they give up their connection with him. The devotee then becomes doubly unhappy. First of all, devotee becomes unhappy because his riches have been taken away by Krishna, and he is made even more unhappy with his relatives desert him because of his poverty. We should note, however, that when a devotee falls into a miserable condition in this way, it is not due to the past impious activities known as karma phala. The poverty of the devotee is a creation of the personality of Godhead. Similarly, when a devotee becomes materially opulent, then that is also not due to the pious activities. In either case, whether the devotee becomes poor or richer, the arrangement is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This arrangement is especially made by Krishna for his devotee, just to make him completely dependent upon him and to free him from all material obligations. He can then concentrate his energy, mind, body, everything for the service of the Lord, and then become, and that is pure devotional service. In the Narad Pancharatra, it is therefore explained being free from all designations. Works performed for family, society, community, nation or humanity are all designated. I belong to this society, I belong to this community, I belong to this nation, I belong to this species of life. Such identity are all merely designation. When by the grace of Lord a devotee is freed from all designation, his devotional service is actually nice karmaya. Jnanis are very much attracted to the position of nice karmaya, in which one's action no longer have any material effect. The devotee's activities are freed from the material effect, and so these activities are no longer in the category of karma phala or fruitive activities. As explained before by the personified Vedas, the happiness and distress of a devotee are produced by the personality of Godhead, and the devotee therefore does not care whether he is in happiness or in distress. He goes on with the duty of executing devotional service, although his behavior seems to be subject to the action and reaction of fruitive activities. He is actually freed from the result of action. It may be questioned why a devotee is put to such tribulation by the personality of Godhead. The answer is that this kind of arrangement by the Lord is just like a father sometimes becoming unkind to his sons, because the devotee is surrendered soul and is taken care by the Supreme Lord. Whatever condition of life the Lord puts him in, whether one is distress or of happiness, it is to be understood that behind this arrangement is large plan designated by the personality of Godhead. For example, Lord Krishna put the Pandava into distress condition so acute that even grandfather Bhishma could not comprehend such distress could occur. Every time on Saturday, I think we should cut short today's session, maybe half an hour or even lesser. Yeah, just let's read and okay. He lamented that although the whole Pandava family was headed by King Yudhishthira, the most pious king, and protected by the two great warriors, Bhima and Arjuna, and although above all the Pandavas were all intimate friends and relatives of Lord Krishna, they still had to undergo such tribulations. Later, however, it was proved that this was planned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as a part of his great mission to annihilate the miscreant and protect the devotees. Another question may be raised. What is the difference between the devotee and the common man, since both are put into different kinds of happy and distressful condition? The devotee, by the arrangement of the personality of Godhead, and the common man, as a result of his past deed. Okay. How is the devotee any better than the ordinary karmi? The answer is that the karmi and the devotees are not on the same level. In whatever condition of life the karmi may be, he continues in the cycle of birth and death because of the seeds of karma or fruitive activity is there, and it fructifies. The answer is that the karmis and the devotees are not on the same level in whatever condition of life the karmi may be. Continues in a cycle of birth and death because of the seed of karma, fruitive activities is there, and it fructifies whenever there is an opportunity. By the laws of karma is By the laws of karma, a common man is perpetually entangled in the repeated birth and death, whereas a devotee's distress and happiness are not being under the laws of karma, are part of the temporary arrangement by the Supreme Lord, which does not entangle the devotees. Such an arrangement is made by the Lord only to serve a temporary purpose. If a karmi performs auspicious activities, he is elevated to the heavenly planet, and if he acts impiously, then he is put into a hellish condition. But whether a devotee acts in so-called pious or impious manner, he is neither elevated nor degraded, but is transferred to the spiritual kingdom. Therefore, a devotee's happiness and distress and a karmi's happiness and distress are not of the same level. This fact is corroborated by the speech of Yamraja to his servants in Hare Krishna. All words are jumping. The fact is corroborated by a speech by Yamraja to his servants in connection with the liberation of Ajamil. Okay, Yamraja advised his followers that they should approach only persons who have never uttered the holy name of the Lord or remembered the form, quality, pastime of Lord. Yamraja also advised his servant never to approach the devotees. On the contrary, he instructed the messengers that if they met a devotee, they should offer their respectful obeisances. So, there is no question of devotee being promoted or degraded within this material world, as there is a gulf of difference between the punishment awarded by the mother and the punishment awarded by an enemy. So, devotee's distress is not the same as the distress of common karmi. Here another question may be raised: if the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all powerful, why does he try to reform his devotees by putting him in distress? The answer is that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead puts his devotee in distress, it is not without purpose. Sometimes the purpose is that the distress, a devotee's feeling of attachment. Okay. Sometimes the purpose is that in distress, a devotee's feeling of attachment to Krishna are magnified. For example, when Krishna, before leaving the capital of Pandava for his home, asked Kunti Devi for permission to leave. She said, "My dear Krishna, in our distress, you were always present with us. Now because we have been elevated to a royal position, you are leaving us. I would therefore prefer to live in distress than to lose you." When a devotee is put into a situation of distress, his devotional service are accelerated Therefore, to show special favor to a devotee, the Lord sometimes put him into distress. Besides that, it is stated that the sweetness of the happiness is sweeter to those who have tasted bitterness. The Supreme Lord descends to the material world just to protect his devotees from distress. In other words, if devotees were not in distress condition, the Lord would not have come down. As for his killing the demons or miscreant, this can be easily done by his various energies. Just as many asuras are killed by his external energy, Goddess Durga. Therefore, the Lord does not intend to come down to kill such demons. But when the devotee is in distress, he must come down. Lord Narasimhadev appeared not in order to kill Hiranyakashipu, but to save Prahlad and to give him blessings. In other words, because Prahlad Maharaj was put into great distress, Lord appeared. When, after dense dark night, finally sunrise in the morning, it is very pleasant. When there is scorching heat, cold water is very pleasant. And when there is freezing winter, hot water is very pleasant. Similarly, when a devotee, after experiencing the distress of the material world, relishes the spiritual happiness awarded by the Lord, his position is still more pleasant and enjoyable. The Lord continued, when my devotee is bereft of all material riches and is deserted by his relatives, friends and family members, because he has no one to look after him, he completely takes shelter to the lotus feet of the Lord. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung in this connection, my dear Lord Krishna, O son of Nanda Maharaj, you are now standing before me with Srimati Radharani. The daughter of King Vrishabhanu, I am now surrendering unto you. Please accept me. Please do not kick me away. I have no shelter other than you. So that should be our state of mind. We should have full surrenderance onto Krishna. And once we know that we have no other hope than Krishna, then it becomes very easy for us to do bhakti. Till now it is explained that once we have opulence with us, independent of Krishna, then what we are doing is having Maya's connection with us. Once we are having Maya's connection, we cannot understand about Krishna, we cannot do ever. Yeah. Okay. When a devotee is thus put into so-called miserable condition and bereft of riches and family, he tries to revive the original position of the material opulence. But although he tries again and again, Krishna again and again takes away all the resources. Thus he finally becomes disappointed. In the meanwhile, in the material should we end the session today? Let's end today fast. We will be continuing next week. I'm not able to see. At times I am able to see. At times it blackens. Yeah. Let's do Vaishnava Pranam Mantra and end. And next week we will continue. Okay. not too much to read, but I'm not able to read. I'm finding it extremely challenging. Okay, let's do Vaishnav Pranam. Yeah. Anyone might unmute me. Hare Krishna.
कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। यजमान वैष्णव प्रपात की जय। भगवद गीता की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। सभी भक्तों की जय। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्ण
हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण many thanks for everyone to join in. I'm really sorry we are ending the session midway, but